What is the Matrix? A prison for our minds, an illusory world created to keep us under control. And for what purpose? The answer we received is simple, brutal, and clear. Morpheus, our guide to reality, delivers it with cold certainty. Humanity has become a source of energy, a battery. We are fuel for the machines, our bioelectricity, the heat of our bodies. All of it powers the cold empire of artificial intelligence. This idea is shocking. It became the foundation of the entire trilogy. And, admittedly, it's a brilliant lie. A lie perfectly suited for war. It creates a simple and understandable enemy. It turns machines into soulless parasites and humans into their innocent victims. Black and white, good and evil. This idea makes us fight and die for freedom. But what if this is merely propaganda? Not just deception from the machines, but the greatest lie in the entire Matrix universe? Hello, you're watching Second Take. Today we'll show you a theory that transforms the Matrix from a dark dystopia about slavery into a brilliant parable about evolution. Evolution where the one is not a system error, but its primary driver. Think about it for a second. The idea of using humans as batteries is economic nonsense that contradicts fundamental laws of physics, the laws of thermodynamics. The amount of energy required to sustain a complex biological organism, with its temperature, metabolism, filtration systems, would inevitably exceed the pathetic amount of energy that body could produce. It's like trying to light up a city by burning banknotes in a furnace. The machines are hyper-rational beings, built on pure, cold logic. They would never build their civilization on the foundation of a mathematical error. So, why do they need us? Why maintain billions of lives in the most complex, energy-intensive simulation when nuclear fusion or geothermal energy would be millions of times more efficient? The answer lies not in our bodies, but in what's hidden behind our eyes, in nature's most perfect creation. The machines don't need our energy. They need our brains. We're not batteries. We're organic processors. The human brain is the most amazing computer ever created. It operates not just with zeros and ones. It's capable of something no artificial intelligence, however perfect, can achieve. True creativity, intuition, non-linear, irrational leaps of thought that we call insights, symphonies born from silence, theorems emerging from chaos, the ability to see meaning in paradox and beauty in imperfection. That machines are powerless without humans is clearly visible in the system's very sanctuary. On the architect's screens, we see multiple predicted reactions from Neo, but all of them are wrong. This isn't just a room, it's a monument to their main weakness. The cold logic of machines fails before the living, unpredictable human mind. That's why they need us. They are limited, and we are their only way beyond these limitations. The Matrix isn't a prison. It's a gigantic, distributed computing network. And perhaps the grandest trick lies not in the simulation itself, but in how it uses our time. Our waking hours, our jobs, our families, our ambitions are merely colorful interactive interface designed to keep our consciousness occupied and compliant. It's a reward for labor we don't realize we're performing. But when we sleep, when our consciousness shuts down and plunges into dreams, that's when the real work begins. It's in sleep, in the silence of the unconscious, that our brains, freed from personality, connect to the machine's tasks. We solve their creative problems, model impossible scenarios, find ways out of their logical dead ends. We are their imagination, working the night shift. But what does a hyper-rational system do with such an unpredictable and irrational resource as human imagination? It can't simply use it. First, it must understand it, catalog it, and ultimately, optimize it. Any system strives for increased efficiency. And to solve the most complex creative tasks, machines most likely use one of the most powerful methods known in programming: competitive or evolutionary algorithms. Their operating principle is brilliant and borrowed from nature itself. You create not one solution, but an entire population of different variants. Then you pit them against the problem and select the most successful ones. These best solutions combine with each other, sometimes with random mutations, to produce the next, more perfect generation. The cycle repeats again and again until an optimal, often completely unpredictable solution is found. This is exactly how today's most complex satellite antennas are designed. Financial markets are optimized, and even artificial intelligence is taught to solve creative tasks. And here we come to the second, even more striking part of this theory. The matrix isn't just a working environment. It is such an algorithm, the most grandiose competitive algorithm ever created. It's a planetary Darwinian experiment disguised as ordinary life, an elimination game where consciousness itself is at stake. Everything around us in this digital dream, social norms, career ladders, financial crises, even the laws of physics aren't just background. These are meticulously designed filters, obstacles created to weed out standard, predictable thinking and identify those capable of more. Agents aren't just police, they're test controllers, monitoring the purity of the experiment. Billions of people live their lives without noticing the walls of this labyrinth. Their processors work in standard mode, generating the necessary creative background. But the system isn't looking for background. It's looking for an anomaly, a pearl. It's looking for those capable of not just following the game's rules, but questioning them. Those who feel the splinter in their brain, those who intuitively reach for the rabbit hole.
And one of them, the most unusual, whose mind possesses the unique ability to interact with code on a fundamental level, who hacked the very operating system with his consciousness, becomes the One. The prophecy isn't a mystical prediction, it's a technical specification. The One isn't a messiah, he's a statistical inevitability, the game's winner. And here lies the key difference of our entire theory from the conventional view of the film. The Matrix doesn't fight the One. It doesn't try to destroy him. It doesn't even use him in the conventional sense. It learns from him. The entire journey of the One, from awakening to the final point, is the most valuable dataset the system has ever received. It hungrily analyzes his every choice, every intuitive guess, every act of defiance. It tries to understand and catalog human creativity in its highest, most unpredictable manifestation. When he is found and his path is walked, the final stage of the cycle begins. The meeting with the Creator. The architect, a programmer looking at the log file of his most successful experiment. He speaks of rebooting the Matrix, but we know this isn't a reboot, it's an upgrade. This is the moment when accumulated knowledge must be integrated into the system. And how exactly does this upgrade occur? It's a multi-level complex process worthy of machine intelligence genius. First, through genetics, the machines control the incubators. They can analyze the one's genome and, when creating the new generation, give preference to embryos with similar innate predispositions to neuroplasticity and nonlinear thinking. They perform a hardware upgrade. Second, through environment. The simulation itself changes. Different social and cultural triggers are embedded in the new version of the Matrix. New professions, new philosophical movements, new art forms. All these are the subtlest stimuli that will cultivate the qualities they need in the entire population. They update the operating system. And finally, through direct intervention, through the ports in our heads, they can stimulate the development of certain neural pathways in the brain, even at the formation stage, finally tuning our thinking. They install new drivers. But for this complex and risky process to work, one fundamental condition is necessary. The one must make a conscious choice. Why? Because his data isn't a static file that can be copied. It's a dynamic process, and the final, conscious act of will is its culmination. It's the last, most important line of code that the one must write himself. Attempting to extract it by force or deception would distort the entire experiment. And this trick, this elegant data collection protocol, worked perfectly, 5 times in a row. The architect presented each one with a cold, merciless, mathematically precise dilemma, and 5 times in a row, the ones being the embodiment of the highest human logic and responsibility made the pragmatic choice: save billions by sacrificing the few in Zion. They accepted their systemic role, and the Matrix successfully rebooted, becoming ever more perfect. The cycle was flawless. But the 6th cycle was different. The system had been malfunctioning long before this meeting. An agent program named Smith, an anomaly born from interaction with Neo himself, had gone out of control. He was becoming a digital cancer, threatening the very stability of the Matrix. Rebooting with Neo's help was not just a planned upgrade, it was a vital clean install that had to erase both the one's anomaly and the Smith virus. But at the most crucial moment, another unaccounted variable invaded the architect's perfect laboratory experiment, and Neo, obeying not logic or ideals, but a simple primal human feeling, does the unthinkable. He chooses the door on the left. This so-called idealistic choice wasn't actually a philosophical gesture for freedom, it was instinctive. Neo simply couldn't let Trinity die. His decision wasn't directed against the system, it was directed at saving one person. And with this personal, almost selfish act, he breaks everything. The architect's plan collapsed. The update protocol was disrupted, and this meant that the Smith virus, which should have been erased during the reboot, could now grow without limits. The failure of the architect's plan led the system defenseless against a new threat that now endangered not only humans, but the machines themselves. The old problem was replaced by a new one, even more terrible. And for the first time in their history, the cold logic of the machines found itself at a dead end. And here occurs the greatest irony of this entire story. The One is a top-tier organic processor who, though he went out of control, ultimately still solved the architect's main task. He didn't fulfill the direct assignment, but through his malfunction, his irrational choice, he posed a problem to the system that it couldn't solve with old methods, and thereby pointed it towards true, non-linear evolution. At the end of the trilogy, the machines declare peace. Many mock such a finale, saying that it rests on a gentleman's agreement. But our theory says the opposite. This isn't goodwill. This is cold calculation based on new revolutionary knowledge. Observing Neo, the architect made a great discovery. He understood that a system based on coercion and control will always generate anomalies. But a system based on freedom and cooperation, though more complex and chaotic, is ultimately much more stable and productive. The Matrix wasn't defeated, it evolved. Neo became not the destroyer of the system, but the catalyst for its biggest update. He didn't win the war, he changed the rules. He proved that the human mind is not just a processor for optimization, but a partner whose unpredictability is not a bug to be fixed, but the key to true development. So next time a brilliant idea visits you, when intuition suggests an unconventional path, think about it. Perhaps it's not just your consciousness at work. Perhaps at this very moment, you're offering the system an upgrade it never even suspected. That's our theory. Like the Matrix itself, it forces us to take a second look at what seemed obvious. Our channel is still very young, and your support is the only thing that allows us to continue searching for hidden meanings in beloved films. So if you enjoyed this analysis, please like and subscribe. We have many amazing theories ahead that will make you see cult cinema in a new light. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.